Rococo art was not without its controversial subject matter. In fact, it may be more interesting when things didn't go according to plan for the subjects being painted. The Rococo style, which flourished in the 18th century, generally emphasized lightheartedness, elegance, and decorative artistry. Much of the focus of these paintings was on aristocracy at play or leisure, and often with many romantic undertones. Rococo is commonly considered to be one of the most, if not the most, romantic of any period of art. That being said, there was a pushback to this content, often calling the paintings hedonistic or shallow, and accusing the aristocracy of spending more time partying than educating their children and properly running the country. In this video, we'll take a closer look at some Rococo-era paintings that did not quite communicate the lackadaisical atmosphere that was so prevalent in this period. Firstly, we will take a look at Surprised or Infidelity Found Out by artist Christian Wilhelm Ernst Dietrich, made sometime between 1712 and 1774. This painting depicts a man and a woman on the ground, embracing each other, while Cupid stands behind them holding an arrow. As is typical of a Rococo romantic scene, they are laying in the middle of a forest or a garden. On the right side of the painting, we see a group of people approaching them, each of them gawking at the scene that they have stumbled upon. Meanwhile, the two on the ground are in shock. The lady is hiding herself by turning away from the group in shame and covering her face with her fan. The man, however, is reaching up towards a woman in the group while still in an embrace with the lady in yellow. The woman we can only assume to be his wife. She is holding her hand out towards him, however, she is looking towards the viewer, almost as if to communicate her clarity of the situation and her disillusionment. Her other hand is being held and guided by a cherub, who holds a torch out toward the husband and his lover on the ground. The torch symbolizes enlightenment, as it reveals what had been done in the dark. Both she and the man are clothed in black, a symbolic color choice for the depth of their relationship due to the husband's affair. Further right, we see a jester who is absolutely laughing his heart out at the couple being discovered in their act. This serves to magnify the couple's shame. As the jester, one who is usually the subject of being laughed at is instead laughing at them. This entire scene serves to shed light on some of the horrible realities that are kept quiet about the Rococo take on romance and parties. Rather than an amorous affair, which was kept secret and had no repercussions, here we see the consequences that such actions would result in. Many critics called out Rococo art for promoting hedonistic values which would tear families apart and fail to prepare the next generation to be upright and just. In our next painting, The Garter by Jean-Francois de Troyes, we see a private scene between a man and a woman. The woman is sitting in a chair with her dress buttons halfway undone, and her dress flowing loosely down her figure with the absence of a tightly fit bodice. Nearing the bottom of the painting, she is holding up her dress, revealing half of her leg and a garter that had come undone. The man here offers to reattach it for her, an utterly erotic act, and he has stood up in eagerness to do so. Unfortunately for him, however, the woman is firmly refusing him, putting her arm out between them and distancing herself by leaning away. This is an image of love or eroticism denied and cut short. In the back, we see a fanciful clock, on which is depicted Cupid, who has stolen Father Time's scythe, which boldly symbolizes the scene depicted here. The painting is fairly unusual compared to what is typical of Rococo art. Here is depicted a serious refusal of leisurely activities. Typically, when we do see a refusal, it is a coy one, in which the woman is playing a game of chase and enjoying the man's attempts to win her love. It is important to have well-rounded exposure to the differing viewpoints surrounding historical events. It is easy to believe that everyone felt the same way as what has been most popularized and published. However, there are always critics. For example, the vast majority of French citizens held disdain for the Rococo style as it emphasized the lush, carefree lives of the aristocracy, while the common folk struggled to keep themselves safe and fed. This later led to the rise of neoclassicism, a return to classical art after the French Revolution. Taking everything into account, Surprised or Infidelity Found Out by artist Christian Wilhelm Ernst Dietrich and The Garter by Jean-Francois de Troyes are two important paintings which were quite rebellious in the content matter during the Rococo period. Thank you for listening.